you told me what you want to do. And part of it is be an advocate. And you've been an advocate somewhat by choice, but sometimes because you were forced to do so, be a self-advocate in that reason. How have you used your own self-advocacy skills to advocate for other students?
I would say I've done it by, whenever I notice that there is, something wrong, or people will come to me with something that they have going on in regard to a situation that they've had with like a professor or another staff member on campus. I always do my best to like point them in the direction of how I would handle the situation, which nowadays I have no problem with getting loud and boisterous, which I know sometimes people won't be comfortable with handling it like that, but I want to make sure that, okay, your teacher wouldn't give you your extended time. You need to go to your disability counselor, find out who the person is over that particular college, and go to their boss if they don't, tell you what you want to hear, and you keep going if you have to until, you get to the top. So I try to tell them realistic things that I would do myself. I never want to sugarcoat it or lie to them or tell them, oh yeah, this is going to be an easy fix. No, this is not going to be an easy fix. This is something that's going to have to, take a long time. But if you stay on it, you're going to eventually see a change or get whatever end result it is that you're seeking.
And I'm like, no, like shoot for the moon. And if you don't, listen, you gotta try your best. So like even creating those safe spaces where like I'm like, it's okay to negotiate. Like you deserve that salary. Like, and just helping them feel confident, I think is just one of the ways.
You've described your experiences in school, and all of this is pre-COVID, right? And as a matter of fact, when we talk about it at Trust, the way a lot of people are talking about, we're actually dealing with a dual pandemic of COVID and also the virus of racism, and really taking that head on. And so I'm thinking we recently released a report around social and emotional academic development, and making sure that when we're talking about social and emotional learning, that it very much is tied to academic development. That's not something over to the side. And then B, that it doesn't become a way of talking about how to fix children, or how to fix students, and even more specifically, how to fix what we've seen Black students, and students of color. So I'm curious how you're thinking about that. Like, what does school look like moving forward as we negotiate and as we recover from these pandemics? What would make it a better place to be when we talk about the trauma that is definitely going to come out of these two experiences? Because that is something that we're very committed to putting on people's radars and trying to make sure schools and school districts and leaders are aware of. It's that to change your school climate and your school culture, you've got to change your approach to how you think about the language of social and emotional development and trauma.
I would definitely say accountability has got to be key, because that is something that I see that they are not doing, we are not doing. You need to, own up to what is going wrong in this education system, because there are definitely some things that are just flat out not working, and there are some things that could be done better. So let's go ahead and tweak that so it doesn't get to the point of, flat out not working. And once we, acknowledge that, let's do something about it so it doesn't idly sit by and just collect dust and we forget about it. Because if you don't have accountability, yeah, you may have all these other pieces, but then it's not going to matter.
I have to say, as from Ed Trust, accountability in the data, where the numbers, you're speaking our language, because that's so much what we're very much committed to in terms of the accountability of accountability systems help you see shine lights on where the inequities are so that they can be addressed, right? And how important that is. And there is a concern right now that we're going to roll back a lot of that. There's a kind of a throwing up of your hands that we can't. We've had such disruption in schools right now that we need to just get rid of everything because no one quite knows what to do, you know. And I think that what I hear both of you saying is, no, there were certain things that we were doing, we can do it better. But the idea of having an accountability system or making sure that we have some sense of where students are, you know, some kind of assessment of where they are so we know how we move forward is important. I also am struck by, Elisa, you said that even if you don't have the money, there are things you can do. I think that's what you were saying, you know, and I was thinking about the coursework and how there's certain times when in certain classes, students just aren't enrolled, you know. We at EdTrust have found when you start talking about advanced coursework and getting some of those kinds of opportunities, Black and Latino students, they're in the schools, sometimes even probably qualified, they're not being enrolled into those courses and what's happening there.